Hello guys, welcome to today's video. So in today's video we are going to create a loading page that looks something like this. So in our loading page, this loads from 10% to 100%. So let's run it and see. So it goes 10%, 20% until it gets to 100, then stops. We are going to have our little image here and our label here, welcome to my app, and the place weight, the counting label as well, with a close button here. So let's quickly get into the video. So what we need for this video, let's quickly import it. So we need Tkinter. So let's say from Tkinter we are importing. Let's import everything using the asterisk. So another thing is from Tkinter.ttk. Let's import progress bar, and with the progress bar you must make sure it begins with a capital P, a uppercase P, progress bar. If you begin with a small case P, it won't come. So take note of that as well. Now let's import the last thing. Import sys. Okay, so we are done with the import. So now let's quickly assign our page as usual. Let's say tk. Let's launch it. So root dot main loop. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, so we have our little small page here now. So let's quickly give it a size and all that. So I'll come back here, and what I'm going to do right now is going to be a little bit complicated, but I'll explain it and you understand the reason why I'm doing that as well. So don't worry about that. So let's say width is equal to 530. I need an equal to sign. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm trying to give our window a size, and I know giving window a size you can usually go to root.geometry and just give it a size and you are good to go. But like I said, I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm doing all this so you can understand, and you have to choose whatever is good for you anyway, so don't worry. So let's say width, let's go for 2. Now let's come to our y as well. So sorry. Okay, so let's copy all this. Okay, so here is going to be height. Just have to change where the width is to height. Okay, so let's go to the geometry, and so okay, that format. Okay, so let's run this and see what we got. Okay, there is a little problem here. So it says bar geometry specify. So where 530 plus. Okay, so I think here should be DB plus. Okay, let's run it again and see. Okay, boom. So here we go. Okay, so like I said, so let me quickly comment this as well and use the normal geometry to give the page a size and see the difference. So okay, let me comment this. and come here as well. So let's give our root size as the normal way. So let's say geometry, let's say 530 by 430. We need some quotes around it. Okay, let's run it. Boom. Okay, we have our root here. We have our window here, and let me launch it again. So the problem is, anytime you launch this window, see that the window doesn't stand in the center. It stands at the left side of the page, and with the progress bar or with the loading page you're about to create, we need our page to be centered anytime you launch your application. We always want our page to be in the center, and with this, anytime you launch it, the window is never going to be in the center. So now let me clear this also, and now let's see this. Okay, so you could clearly see the difference now. So with this, anytime you launch your page, the window stands in the center. First, initially it was here, so now let's say again. So always, anytime you're going to launch your page, the window is going to be in the center. So that's the purpose of using all this, and it's not anything complicated. You just assign your height the same way as the geometry did. Your height to 430, your width to 530, and this is the X, Y. This window screen width by 2. This one is basically used to manipulate the size of the window. Either you can use here and here, or you can use this to just manipulate the width and the height of the window. Maybe you want to expand your width or expand your height. That's what all this is about. Yeah. So now let's continue. So one thing, now let me launch my page. So we want our page to remain this way. We don't want our page, anytime we launch our page, the user to, like for example, maximize the page and minimize it. We want the page to stay this way, because what we are going to create, we didn't want the user to tamper with it. So we may want to turn off the maximize button on our page. So with that, let's quickly go to root dot resizable. Let's say 0,0. So let's see. So as you can see, there's no option to maximize the page. You only have the option to minimize and bring it back to the original size. There's no way you want to zoom it again. So that's what all that is about. So okay, let's continue now. So the next thing we want to do is we want to remove the title bar from our page. We want to remove this title bar right here from our page. So to do that, we just need one line of code, and it will work like magic. So let's go. Let's say root dot over redirected 1. Root, remember the root, we assign the root to our window, dot over redirected 1. So let's launch it. Boom. Okay, let's put a background color so you can see what we have here. So for the background color, let's go to, so let's say root dot config, let's say background, sorry, okay, let's say yellow. Now let's launch it and see. No, something is wrong. Sorry, the background, the spelling is wrong. Anyway, okay, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see now, it's clear now. So now the title bar is gone. The close button, minimize and maximize button, the TK symbol, everything here is gone. We can comment this again and see. So our title bar is back on. So like I said, it's just one line of code, then boom, we are good to go. Root dot over redirected one. So that's it. So the next thing is, okay, let's change the background to then the default background that we saw in our project. So let's put it to hash. So B800C4. You can use any color of your choice anyway. You don't necessarily have to use the same color I'm using. So okay, here we go. So now the next thing we are going to do is, now that we remove the title bar, we don't have any close button again. So imagine we want to close this page. So you can click on the page for it to vanish anyway, but we are going to do something that the page is going to stay here, but as you can see, it's still running in the background, which means the page is still running here. So let's create a close button here, which will allow us to close this page anytime we launch it. So with that, let's quickly let's create a label. Yeah, so let's call our label, so let's say close. Okay, remember we imported, I think there's something wrong with my Tkinter here. Okay, so remember we imported system. System, I don't know the full meaning anyway, but SYS, I usually call it system anyway. But so let's define, let's say exit. So this SYS we import here is basically going to help us to create a close button. So let's call the SYS now dot exit. Okay, exit. So let's say root dot destroy. Okay, so now let's create, the next thing is we are going to do is we are going to create a label that is going to hold this function. So let's say exit button, sorry, exit button. So let's say, okay, so we are going to put this button on our page. So the name of our page is root, so just bring your root here, then comma. So you want to give it, let's say text. So you have our text here. Let's place it on our window. So exit button dot place. So x is equal to 0. Okay, and we want a little command. So say command. So we can call, remember we create we define exit window here. So we are going to call this exit window with the lambda here. So command is equal to, then your lambda, then you go. So let's call it, so let's say exit window here. So if you don't call this exit window here, it means this button is useless. It's not going to do anything. This is what is going to make the button work. So let's launch our page again. So we have our button file here. So as you can see, if you look at the background now, nothing's running here again. Anytime you exit, the page is gone in the background. So let's design our page, our close button. Let's make it look a little good. So let's give it a font. So I'm going to use one of the default fonts from font style that comes with Python. You can use any default font style you want. We have so many. We have Roboto, we have Arial, we have a lot of them. The default, they comes with Python. You can use any of them as well. So for now I'm using GUI. So let's set it to bold. And another thing is, let's give it a color. So let's say FG. Let's give it a color of yellow. So let's see. Okay, you can see it now. So let's bring it to, the right side. So bring it to the right side. Let's say x is equal to 10. Let's say y. Okay, let's leave the y to, okay, there, let's leave the y like that. Let's see what we got. Okay, need to get a little bit. So let's increase the x value. Let's say 12. Okay, a little more. Okay, 15. The 15 will be too small because we want it to go to the far end. Okay, one thing about places, it's always hard to get the right values. Okay, let's say 9. It's always hard to get the right. A little more. So 90. How this is good. Okay, it's okay. I think it's okay now. So let's change the background of it. So let's say, so we want to use the same background color here so that it will blend with our window background. So we are copying the background of our window and pasting it here. Okay, so here we go now. And one thing is, you want to set the border as well to 0. And the last thing, let's change the active background to, okay, let's use the same color here. Okay, boom. So let's see. Nice looking. So we just got our close button here now. Nice and gentle. So what next? So let's create our label, which says, label that anytime we launch our page, it's going to tell us For example, welcome to my app. So let's quickly come here. Let's define a label. So let's say welcome label. Welcome label. Actually, I would put it on our page as well. Test. So let's say welcome to my app. Let's put all in uppercase. Welcome to my app. Okay. So let's place this label. So X, let's say 50. Y, let's say 10. Now let's see what we got. Okay, so we have our label here. So now let's design it to make it look good. So let's give it a font size as usual. Let's copy this here to save time. So we are using the same. So let's increase the font size here to like 19. And we want it to go. So let's say 100. So let's launch and see. Okay, we need to remove the background by setting it to the same color as the page background as well. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, nice looking. So next thing is let's push it a little bit to the center for it to align well. So let's say 150 here, and let's do 15. I hope this is good because I don't want to be going back. Okay, perfect. I think it's a little bit to the right. Right. So it's good anyway. So the next thing is let's add some image. We want to add some image here. So let's define our image. Sorry. Say image is equal to photo image. So I'm having an image already in my image folder here. I'm having an image in my image folder here. I'm having images, so I'm just going to pick one of it. So any image at all you have, you can just pick it. So inside my image area, my image are inside my image folder, and the name of the image I'm going to use is reader.png. So let's get to it again. So here's my folder, and inside my folder here's my image folder. And inside my I have so many images here, and I'm using this particular image called reader.png. So it doesn't have to be the same image anyway. Any image at all you have on the PC, you can just use it. So let's place our image inside the label and put it on it. So let's say begin. So putting the image inside the label is going to give us that freedom to be able to manipulate the image anyhow we like, because it's going to be hard to manipulate the height and weight and everything of the image. But when we put it in the label, using the label attribute, we are going to be able to manipulate it anyhow we want. So that's why we are putting the image inside the label. So okay, so let's say root, and let's call our image. Yeah, okay, nice. So let's now place our label on there. Yeah, so Beijing, in that place. So X, okay, we are back to place again. Ooh, this time I hope everything is perfect. Let's say 150. Y is 15. Another thing, we didn't call our image, or our name of our image is image, so we may want to specify that as well. Yeah. And another thing, let's give our image background, just as we've done with the other ones. We want it to have the same background as our page. So now let's launch it. Let me make sure I don't come back to come and change this place thing again. Okay. I think this time is perfect. Wow. So we have our image placed on our window. So the next thing is I'm going to set our, we're going to bring a place weight and a label and our progress bar. So that's the main part of this project. So let's get into it now. So to do that, now let's assign a progress bar, progress label. So let's call it progress label. So inside this progress label, let's name, sorry. Okay, so we just send our progress. There's typo in Word. I think the spellings of progress is correct. Okay, I think there's double E here. Okay, so we are good to go now. It doesn't matter. You can use any name. It doesn't matter anyway. I just don't want Tkinter underlining my styles anyhow, just like that. It doesn't make the code look nice. It doesn't matter whether type or whatever, it will still work. So take note of that. So let's say test. Let's say please wait. I'll put some 3 dots in front of it. So as usual, let's give it a font. So let's copy. Okay, I think we missed one thing here as well, a label, to specify that this is a label. So let's copy this as well here. We are using the same font style throughout. That's why I'm copying the other ones. So let's lower this label to let's say 13. sorry. So the next thing is we want to give these two also a background, same background as the other ones. So we want to copy. So we want our label to have the same background as the page. So that's basically what we are doing here. Anyway, I think let's close this. So I think we are good to go now. Let's place our label and see what we got. So progress label dot place. Once again, we are back to place. I have to get it right this time as well. So x 100, y, let's say 250. So let's go. Oh no, I wanted to get it right. You need to make it count down a little bit. So let's increase the s to like 190. So let's say 320. Okay, a little bit than perfect, a little bit too perfect. Let's just increase it to like 50. Okay, got it. I think it's okay now, because we are going to put our 100% beside it, so we don't want it to come a little bit to the center. So the next thing is, let's create our loading label and our progress bar as usual. So next we want to assign, let's say progress, let's name, let's say progress. So we want to call this progress bar. Remember, with the progress bar, it always has to be start with uppercase P. As usual, let's put it on our page. Let's give it an orientation of, we want it to be horizontal. So let's say horizontal. We want it to lie straight, not like that. We want it to be horizontal on that page. So that's what the orientation horizontal means. So length, how long we want it to be. So let's say 500, and let's put it mode to determinate as well. Okay, so the next thing is we want to place it. So progress dot place. So we want x to be, let's say 15, and y, let's say, okay, let's put it, let's say 350. No, that's very wrong. Let's make the y 0, because it's going to be very long, and the x, well, yeah, I think it's okay. 350. because we need to make it come down, far down. Okay, I think it's okay. Let's see. Okay, there's something wrong with the determinant. Must be determinant or indeterminate. Okay, determinate. Sorry, we got it wrong here. Still wrong. Okay, there's n here. Python is very, very smart anyway. Little bit of mistake, then you are gone. Okay, so I think the progress bar has covered our text, so we may want it to come down a little bit. So let's push the y down to, let's say, 390. Okay, it's okay now. So here we go. Now the next thing is we are going to create a function that is going to load. It's going to load inside our progress bar, and when it's loading, it will be reading a label which is from our 10%, 20% to whatever here. So let's come down here. Let's call it load. So first we may need the count, so let's assign a global value to 0. So what this global value is basically going to help us create a count function which is going to be counting our load. So that's what was up. So let's call global I. Okay, so what this global, because we assign our I outside the define load button. Sorry, we define our load here and we assign our I outside. So to call it inside, we need the global function. So that's what it's all about. So now let's use our if function. Yeah, so if I is less than. So I'm going to explain this anyway when I'm done. I know it's going to look a little confusing, but I'll explain it anyway. So let's name this test. Let's use please wait test here. Okay, so let's test this first and see if it's working. Yeah, then I'll quickly explain the meaning of it. So it's hard to create these things. You have to be always careful. Okay, let's see if I think it's okay. It's having errors is annoying anyway. Progress label after string. Okay, let's check and see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now let's explain what it's about. Okay, so like I said, we have the global I here means because okay, so let's explain this real quick. So like as I stated here, now we've assigned our I to 0 and we've defined load here, and inside the definition here we call this global I because the I is defined outside this function. We define the I outside. So to call the I inside this function, we need a global value to call it here. So that's what this global is doing here. Then using the if function, if the I we've called is less than or equal to 10, and that's what it means here. Then far down here we have I plus 1 then equal to 1 here. So we are saying I plus 1 here. So which means the I is going to count plus 1. Initially the I is 0. So whenever the I count plus 1, 0 plus 1 becomes 1. Then that 1 here, so now the I, initially the I is 0. So when the I counts plus 1, now the I becomes 1. So now let's quickly move to here. First, let's look at this test here. Okay, what here means is that now we assign our text is equal to please wait plus the please wait represent our text that shows being under the picture. And why is this string here? Because this text is equal to please wait here. This is a string, right? This is a string, and this is an integer because here is going to be counting numbers. There's going to be 10%, 20%. The numbers is going to appear there as integer. So to avoid error, we need to convert this integer to string so that it's going to be string. So that's why this string is here. So the numbers here is going to convert to string because this is also a string. Please wait here is also a string. So we won't run into error. Then the percent will add to whatever value is here. So now let's come back to here. Now we are saying 10%. We are saying 10 times. These are stereo representing multiplication. So this 10 times I. What's our I here? Our I is 0. It counts plus 1. It becomes 1. Now the 1 is multiplied to 10. Then immediately the 1 multiplies to 10. It counts 10%. So that 10 here times 1 becomes 10 plus this percentage becomes 10%. Then quickly this progress bar, which is the green thing that is loading the progress bar, it quickly moved to 10% out of 100%. So now let's look at this here. This one is like the delay thing here. Imagine first, let's look at the difference. Let's run the 1000 first and see. Now we see how it's loading. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's still going. Now let's reduce this to like 500. Let's look at the difference. As you can see, this is loading faster than the first time. Let's make it like 100. As you see how fast it's loading. So the green thing, you see the green thing loading inside the progress bar. And whenever that green thing moved, then the count happens. So let's get back to here. So let's put this back to 1000. So like I said, when this count, you get your plus 1, initially 0, so 0 plus 1 becomes 1. Then the 1 multiplies this 10. This place don't necessarily have to be always 10. The reason why this 10 is here is because we want our loop to be counting 10, 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. That is what is giving us the 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Imagine we place 5 here. Let's put 5 here. Let's put 5 here and run it and see. As you can look now, it's running plus 5 instead of the 10. Let's put 2 there. Now let's run it. Here we go. 2, 4, 6. So what is happening here is that this any number, let's return the value. So what this is basically doing is actually telling us, is actually determining how we want our value to load. Let's say we want it to load 20%, 30, 40, want it to load 20, 20, 40, 60, 80. Here will be 20. So all this have to do is that this is our initial value here, which we are setting here less than or equal to 10. So what, anytime this, before the loop runs, when the loop runs, add the 1, that 1 multiplies the initial value here, which is 10. So that 10 plus the percentage displays. Then immediately the 10 comes, then the progress label pushes to 10 out of 100. It goes on and on. Then the next line, the loop goes again. This time around, it add, become 20. This time around, it goes again, plus another 10 becomes 30%, plus another 10 becomes 40%, and goes on and on and on. That's all it's about. And here there's so many things you can use. Time, you can import time, you can set this place to delay, sleep, or whatever you want to do. Just play around it. Just have to play around it. See, you see how it works. So now that I've explained the loop, as you can, one more thing, the reason why this load here, just have to call this load here as well, the same load we assign here. That's what I say. And another thing, let's run this. Realize that anytime you run our loading page, immediately you click on the screen, the loading page vanishes. You want the page to be static. You don't want anytime you click the screen, the page should vanish. So how do you solve that problem? So let's quickly come here. So let's if I come, let's use window attribute. Let's say topmost. And let's say put this to true. So this topmost is just like we all know we all know TK raise, top level, and all those things. Like this an attribute of letting the page stay in the topmost position. So we are setting the topmost position to true. So which means the page is going to stay on there. So now let's see. Now the page remains on the page. I'm clicking the screen but it's still there. Until you click the close button, the page stays. It doesn't go anywhere. There's a lot you can do with this. There's a lot. You can even change this to transparent. Let's make this transparent, the page. So let's say I want to put this to alpha. So that's a 0.9. As you can see, our page is transparent. You can see her in the background. Let me reduce it so you can see it clear. Let's put 8 here. As you can see, I'm seeing the Python exists and something in the background. I'm seeing this here, which means our page is transparent. So there's a lot you can do with this. There's so many things you can do. You just have to play around it. Whatever is okay for you. So that's all for this video. But before I go, if you have any question, kindly drop it in the video in the comment area. So I will try as much as possible to reply to them. Another thing is, somebody will ask, okay, now we have our loading page. Our loading page loads. Blah blah blah. It loads 60, 70, and it gets to 100. Now as soon as it reaches the 100, it stays. It's not doing anything again. So we want our loading page immediately it reaches 100. We want an action to happen. So let's say when it reaches 100, we want another page to pop up, or another window, or anything. We want an action to happen as soon as the page reaches 100. So now time is already fast spent already. So I'm going to I'm putting a description. I'm putting a link to a video in the description area. Kindly check the description area of this video. There's a link there to another video where I've linked this page. I've linked this loading page to another login page. So whenever this page runs and gets to 100%, it opens a login page for us. So if you are interested in that as well, kindly click the link in the description to check that video out as well. And don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.